Hello guys, I am back from another video on today we talk about deku was in Minecraft or reincarnated into Minecraft. So, in the last video, Deku after trekking through the swamp and also going into an abandoned um an abandoned witch's hut, he was captured by Pearl being the abnormal Enderman or Enderwoman. So, after meeting another girl being a slime girl, or should I say a slime abnormal by the name of Sally, they argued and started saying that wanted to ask Izuku about the human world or the My Hero Academia world. But Izuku escaped thanks to some help. And also, when he escaped, well, he almost, got by Pearl. But thankfully, not both, more like just one, being Olga, saved them, and also defeated, not really defeated, more like just like um Pearl just decided to retreat because she just wants to let Izuku go. And so after that, they left as we moved on to a different perspective. The perspective of Class 1A, Class 1B, and also some of the League of Villains and Lady Nagant going into a village, and now they're currently living in there as citizens of that village. And so that was basically the end of that episode. And so let's talk about what happens next. So, as we go into a different perspective, this perspective is in Class 1A, Class 1B, actually, the ones that are not Izuku, the ones that are reincarnated after the war arc. So, everybody is currently just like pounding in the fields, creating more crops. Even Mei Hatsume was reincarnated here, because why not? And she's currently making, you know, special like iron golems, which she calls Iron Patriots. Not Iron Patriots, god damn it, not those. They're actually more like called Iron Guardians, which are basically modified versions of Iron Golems that she made. These ones, instead of having the ability to, you know, just throw the enemies into the ground, like throw the enemies into like up in the sky and causing them to fall. Instead, they basically have guns. Yeah, they basically have machine guns attached to their arms. So yeah, they're basically overpowered as hell. And many hordes of zombies, when they try to attack this, specific village, let's just say it ends in, a pile of bodies in the morning. Yeah, and Lena Gaunt is teaching these special children on how to fight, especially those that learned how to make gunpowder, and the ones that are using gunpowder started making guns, and yes, they started making guns in this village. Yeah, yeah. Let's just say the villagers were quite thankful for that. So let's move on to Izuku. Izuku is currently walking through a mesa biome, which if you don't know, the mesa biome is basically a desert, but has red sand instead of like the usual um actually, what do you call that? White sand or something? I don't know. So, as his team being wait for a second, being Olga, Rose, and finally Weiss. They're currently trekking through, a mesa biome as they see a large, chasm, or specifically a cave, as it's an abandoned mine, so they decide to go in. As Izuku was looking through, the mine shaft, they see, several different, mining carts with, interesting items. Like, for an example, a mining helmet, which has the ability to, you know, give them some light. And thankfully, it's a pretty bright light, so they started using those ones, but only Izuku has one, so these started following him. As while they're looking around, finding some items, or even finding some diamonds, they see, well, a terrifying sight, to say the least. they see a large spider nest. Yeah, a large spider nest. And if you know me, well, I'm not really terrified of spiders anymore because, well, like literally, my room is literally filled with the things. Even though some of you are like, ew, terrifying. We're basically like the equivalent of like Australians. We don't even really care about spiders right now because spiders here are pretty harmless. We can just crush them if we want to, or we can just like just let them stay. Besides, they're pretty good with like pest control, especially with ants. Fuck those ants. Anyway, so as they see the spiders, they start killing them and ripping off their eyes so they can use with some potions. Apparently, Izuku was told by this by Olga and also by Weiss. Well, Izuku was hesitant to like ripping off those eyes because, you know, ew. So Izuku just like reluctantly just like does it. Just imagine the smell. Anyway, so after Izuku does that, he decides to go somewhere else. As when he goes somewhere else, he gets captured by something. It seems to have the abilities of a spider, but when Izuku looked up, he sees a woman with, well, with several eyes, specifically like spider eyes, and she has like a, what do you actually call that type of mouth? The mouth that literally looks like a spider, where it has like mandibles, basically. Where it's like the bottom half of the jaw, specifically, is like splits open in two. As when Izuku saw it, he was, well, scared out of his mind. As she says this, "Oh, nice to meet you. I'm the Spider Queen of this land, of the Mesa biome. You can call me... You can call me Luna." As he says this, "Get off of me, you..." As she says this, "Oh, don't worry. I'll let you go after I have my fill of tearing your bones and then ripping them from your skin, and then having a bit of a snack, and then implanting my babies in you." As he says this, nope, 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 nope. As he tries to get out of this, he's completely stuck because the spider webs were pretty much sticky as all hell. As he hears somebody else, another, well, abnormal. As this abnormal resembles a cat? I mean, it definitely resembles like a calico cat. As she says this, or at least what he can think she's saying, "Help me for God's sakes." I mean, she definitely sounds like she's saying, "Help me for God's sakes," but it's drowned out by the, well, you know, by the muffled, like, screams of many other, like, you know, many other creatures, like, for example, zombies and many other things. As one of these, well, zombies, well, gets chest bursted. Like, the spider baby start coming out of its chest like a freaking, like, chest burster from Aliens. As the zombie spider that came out of that seems to be dripping out poison, and the others seem to be, like, for example, a skeleton. The skeleton one resembles a, well, emaciated spider with the ability to shoot out arrows instead of, like, you know, regular old webs. And many others started coming out, like, for example, a broken down iron golem, which was weird to Izuku because technically iron golems are basically just like robots, but apparently why not? As the gigantic spider comes out, it's basically like a giant spider, maybe even the size of, like, well, Luna, being the spider girl that I named. As for, well, many others, they were, you know, pretty fast to, like, get impregnated by those spiders. Yeah, that was a bit terrifying. As she says this, "So, because you came into my land without your permission, or my permission, I'm just gonna keep you around. But when I get tired of you, I'll gladly put my babies in you." As Izuku just says to himself, "Alright, I should get out of this place immediately." So yeah, Izuku's a completely tight situation right now. So yeah, wait for a second. So as they were being currently waiting for Izuku, being Rose, Olga, and Weiss, they hear the sound of screaming, being the sound of, Izuku screaming. As they started running up, as they hear the sound up in the ceiling, or specifically up in the ceiling of the, mine shaft. As, Rose punches it, they see the large cavern of spiders, and seeing Izuku about to be, well, um, that thing. And so they just, start burning the place, thanks to, Izuku having some modifications for, Rose. Specifically, he just gave her a flamethrower. I'm not joking, I literally made a flamethrower for her. Like, during their time, looking around this, brand new world, Izuku, found himself in the front of a ruined portal, where he found, a chest there, which is filled with some stuff, including some, well, magma cream. And thanks to that, she's able to now use a, flamethrower. And so she starts burning the place, burning the entire place to the ground. And also saving, cat girl. And so they started escaping. As for Luna, she also escapes, but seeing her, entire home burned to the ground, let's just say she's completely mad and tries to attack Izuku. And so one of them just backhands her in the neck and causing her to fall down and get knocked out. So after that, Izuku just takes off the bindings on, this cat girl, as she thanks Izuku, as she introduces herself as Tigra. As Izuku would say this, the name's Izuku, so you're an abnormal as well. As she says this, yes, Nya. As Izuku would say in his mind, did she just say Nya? As she says this, nice to meet you, Nya. My name is Tigra. We can become big friends, and I sort of don't have a home anymore, so can I please join with you? As he would say this, sure, why not? Because, Izuku literally has a harem. Uh, anyway, so, after, doing that, they started leaving the place and bringing, Luna into, the group. Not really group because, she's still, knocked out. And so they just, just leave her over there in one of the boats. And so they started leaving that, mesa biome. Until they started moving to a different island. Specifically, sorry for the noise, it's just my dogs being mother. I seriously hate my dogs. The only dog that I like is Coco, which is a purebred Pomeranian that I have, while the other dogs are either strays or that we just gotten because why the hell not? And apparently that they're so annoying right now, especially one of the dogs that I absolutely hate is super loud as all hell. So I'm sorry that there's background noise as well. Thanks to my mother and also my grandmother doing some karaoke. Really sorry, but you have to deal with it for now. So after that, after going to the ocean, they made it to a different island, a much more significantly larger one. And so they started leaving their boats as they realized it's almost um sundown. And so everybody started making their house as it's a little cabin. So they brought the unconscious Luna, being the spider girl, and brought her to a large cage which is made out of like iron bars which Izuku gotten from his adventures. And so, when she wakes up, she realizes that she's no longer in her home as she remembers what happened. As she says this, "Why, you damn reincarnator? Get me out of this cage! I'm supposed to be the Spider Queen! You dare? You dare try and trap me here?" As she starts screaming at Izuku while Izuku just ignores it, just like wearing earplugs. As Izuku would just bring her some food, specifically some steak because he's not that of a tyrant. As she would reluctantly just eat it. As for the rest, they started eating, including, well, Tigra. Tigra was eating fish, obviously because, well, she is, well, a cat. But for Rose, she doesn't really need to eat anything because, well, she's technically a robot. In this case, a golem. So, yeah. Wait for a second, guys. Sorry about that. So, after they started sleeping, they wake up as they started packing all of their things, including, well, she reluctantly, well, decided to join them, being, well, Luna. Luna decides to join them because, well, she doesn't have a home, and, well, she just thinks that Izuku is quite interesting. She just puts aside her, well, pride and decide to, well, join them. And so they started leaving. So, after looking around this, well, brand new land, they stumbled upon a road. Surprisingly, apparently there's a village nearby. Apparently this village was told by, well, some man. Apparently this villager, or this man, or at least that Izuku thinks it's a man. I can't remember because, well, Izuku doesn't really remember what he looks like, but he does definitely look like a man, or at least he thinks so. He tells them about this great and powerful village, which is stronger than any other village in this world, or at least, supposedly. Apparently this village is governed by a specific type of, like, abnormal. Apparently this abnormal seems to be a quite powerful one. Apparently, this thing is a dragonborn abnormal. Apparently born after the destruction of the original realm. Or the original, like, realm before, well, being turned into this realm. Apparently, this dragonborn is a half-breed. Half-breed between a, well, wait for a second, between a reincarnator and a, well, a ender dragon. Apparently, ender dragons are apparently able to transform into human, which is pretty rare to see one, like, coming here from, well, the end. And apparently this, well, dragonborn abnormal is a bit different. She seems to have a different way of politics. Apparently she, instead of, like, you know, terrorizing villages and basically, like, conquering them, just like any other regular old village, instead she, does it peacefully. As Izuku was told of this, apparently her name was Myra Kotomine. And Izuku was in shock because apparently Kotomine is a Japanese name. So it's probably a Japanese person that mated with a Ender Dragon. And so they started leaving as they started moving towards another place. As they're, like, following the road, they stumbled upon another city. The city seems to be, well, larger and seems to have large stakes in the ground as walls. As one person comes out, being a villager with surprisingly pretty good armor. It resembles armor from a modern day soldier in his world. As he would say this, "Hey, drop the bridge! We found another reincarnator!" As they open the gates. Wait for a second, guys. Something happened. God dang it. As the gates open, well, Izuku sees something weird. He sees Class 1A, Class 1B, not class, I meant, the League of Villains, aka the people that are reincarnated from the My Hero Academia world, except for Izuku because he was the first one. So, they welcome Izuku with open arms as they realize that Izuku is another reincarnator, as they would say this, being one of them being Kirishima. Wait, you're a reincarnator too? Nice to meet you, guy. What's your name? As he would say this. My name is Izuku Midoriya. So what's yours? As one of them would realize that it's actually the kid that Bakugo bullied, and yeah, let's just say everybody was in shock, seeing him for the first time with, well, the pillager type armor, or specifically clothing, and wielding a black axe and also wielding a crossbow. As they would see the abnormal iron golem and the abnormal spider girl, not that spider girl, the other spider girl, and an abnormal zombie, and finally an abnormal stray and cat girl. As one of them would say this, what the heck are those? As one of them, being a villager, would say this, it seems that we have abnormals here. Nice to meet you. Except for you, zombie. I don't trust you. As she would feel angry, but Izuku would tell her to calm down. As one of them being, well, Momo would say this. So, wait, as Momo would say this, so you must be Izuku Midoriya, the god of this world, or at least the one that, sorry about that, or at least the one that reincarnated us, told us about you. And apparently to read the book, as Izuku would say, god dang it, would say this. Oh, so you know that bastard. As they would say this. Whoa, so you must hate Bakugo then. As he would say this. Well, you probably know why. As one of them would say this, being Kirishima. I'm really sorry, dude, about, well, Bakugo's, well, intentions, but don't worry, he's probably burning in hell right now. As he would say this. So, he's burning in hell. Heh, he deserves it. As, well, one of them being, well, Dobby would say this. So, what's with those girls right here? As one of them being, well, one of them would being Mina would say this. So, is this your harem or something? As all of them would start blushing. As Izuku would say this. What? Harem? What do you mean by that? As the rest of the girls would say, yeah, what are you talking about? As for, well, Rose, like, accepting Rose, like, Rose would, just calmly say, just, instead of, saying something, she would, nod her head. As some of the guys would say, wait, do you have a harem? As, all of the girls would say, what? As Izuku would say this, why did you say that, Rose? As Rose would just pat Izuku's head. As they would go into the village, as everybody started, everybody would see, modern day buildings, basically. They see the buildings resembling like Japan, or at least somewhat like Japan. So, as they looked around, they see that the villagers were selling, instead of the crappy items from that village, that the first village that they ever saw, instead of the crappy, almost horrible trades, instead they have really good trades, for example, some gunpowder and some salted meats and many other stuff that are more associated with Japan, and also some Western stuff. So, after a while of looking around, they go to the main building, or the mayor's office. And so, they meet up with the mayor, as he would say that thanks to the arrival of these reincarnators, they started advancing in their technology, including in making these things, which Mei Hatsumi shows up as she shows off the brand new created, well, not iron golems, I meant iron, well, wait for a second, iron guardians, which resembles, well, a iron golem if they're mixed with the zero pointer, and also seem to be heavily inspired by, some sci-fi shit, as she would show off how it works. It's able to shoot out missiles, shoot out Gatling guns, and many other stuff. Izuku was quite impressed, including with the whole, missile launcher thing. And so, after that, they started, well, having a little bit of a party, which they have their own makeshift disco lights, which is made out of, like a torch. It's not really a torch, it's more like a lantern, and inside the lantern is several different colors of stained glass as they started partying till the night is young. So after that they started leaving as everybody starts going to sleep, including Izuku and his ragtag crew of abnormals. And so they go to sleep. So I'm really sorry that the video seems a bit, well, a bit short than usual because, well, I'm currently talking to somebody right now. I'm currently talking to somebody on Discord for what if ideas, specifically a person that specializes in texting stories. Apparently he wants some ideas, and so I'm just going to be giving him some ideas for a what if or a texting story that he's making. So I'm really sorry that it had to cut up short. So yeah. Sorry for making the video short, but don't worry, I'm going to make a longer video next time, specifically on what if I was in My Hero Academia. And so, I hope you liked the video, comment, subscribe, and also like the video so you can support my channel, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!